Did I mention I used to be an estate agent? My first boss in an estate agency used to say, get the price right and you can sell anything. And it's definitely true when it comes to overnight listings on beds on board. You need to work out a sensible nightly price, and I stress sensible because if you set it too high, you just won't get any inquiries at all. Beds on Board did a recent guest survey and it said that 35% of guests are former boat owners. They're probably likely to book a boat in preference to an apartment. Of course, that means the majority, 65%, are a lot more flexible and fluid, and they choose based on space, location, size, etc. So your boat's likely to compete with everything advertised on Airbnb and booking.com, etc. Be objective. You love staying on your boat, but if you didn't own a boat or you wanted to stay somewhere else, would you honestly stay on someone else's boat rather than in a hotel or an apartment? And I think you need to work out the pros and cons from a non-boaty person's perspective. NBP. My wife's an NBP and her pros and cons would look like this. The pros are, well, it's a boat and it's different and it might be a bit of fun and we get used to the whole boat and it's parked somewhere nice and pretty. But the cons, it's a boat. It might move around a bit. It won't be as big as a couple of hotel rooms or an apartment. It might have inferior heating and the plumbing might be poor. It might rock around too much and will the loo smell? Apartments are much more straightforward. The pros are, it's just an apartment. We know what we're getting. There's no stress or drama and it's got lots of space and it's got nice furniture, proper kitchen. The cons, it's just an apartment, so it lacks any real excitement. Have a think about this from your own boat's point of view. There's a calculator for earnings on the Beds on Board site, but I don't use it. It's a bit like the things the modern online estate agents use, and it doesn't take local factors into consideration. Instead, I looked up my Lymington competitors on Airbnb, and there are lots and lots of lovely looking apartments and garden cottages and a few static caravans and shepherd's huts and whole houses even, and they're mostly around £100 to £155 per night if they sleep four, and they all look beautiful. Now, would I, and more importantly, my NBP wife, choose a boat over these lovely places? Well, maybe if we were attending an event at the marina, or we were thinking about a boat, or we had young children that were mad about boats with birthdays coming up, or, and this is the big thing, if ZenDog competes well on price. So that's where my £125 plus cleaning charge per night came in. Same sort of price as an apartment, less accommodation, a bit more to worry about, but a lot more interesting and fun for a night or two. You do the sums on your own boat and price accordingly. You probably can't get hung up on, well, my boat's a Sunseeker or a Princess or an Oyster. The former boat owners might appreciate this, but the NBPs, the non-boaty people, make up the majority of guests. And NBPs don't care less about the boat brand. They want smart, clean, tidy, modern. Some will be happy with older and quirky, of course. Now, my typical Jeanneau boat is posher than anything most NBPs will have stayed on. I think if you've got a Dunkirk little ship, you might get a premium, but otherwise, price sensibly. So now you've got a price per night, you can do the rest of your sums. ZenDog is £100 to £125 a night, as I've said, but I also charge a £50 cleaning and linen charge, which gets paid straight to my caretaker. So this keeps the headline price down in the listings, and it deters one night stays, which can mess up the chances of getting a decent 2-night stay instead. ZenDog's available all week, but I've rarely had midweek bookings, even with a reduced price. I've focused therefore on 2-night weekends. Now, no one's allowed to stay on Sunday nights, which means I can have fun on my own boat every Sunday from 11 o'clock if I want to. ZenDog is available for booking throughout the year, unless I'm off on a trip or planning a weekend with friends or family. I probably only booked out about 5 of those last year, but I also managed another sort of 10 Sundays out in the summer, just by being careful about bookings. You might want more time for yourselves, and that's fine because Beds on Board don't have any sort of minimum nights commitment. You just book your dates in your calendar and sort it out yourself. A lot of bookings arrive fairly last minute, a week or a fortnight before arrival, and that's good because it gives me and other owners more flexibility. If there's a sudden plan for an August weekend trip, then that's fine. I can book the boat out, etc. So you decide how many weekends you can spare, and you mark those weekends that you want to keep for yourself as unavailable in your calendar, and then you set your price. And then All you need to do is fire up your listing and hopefully wait for some inquiries.